In the late 16th and early 17th centuries, Russia began to show some particular interest in the Kazakh lands. The reason is quite simple, because very important trade routes passed through the Kazakh lands that led to the centers of this trade. These were Khiva Khanate and the Bukhara Emirates. The Moscow government, wanting to master the Urals and at the same time maintain safe relations with neighbors, began to build fortresses on the border with Kazakh lands in order to regulate the movement of various merchants, of embassies, and to protect some specific objects, such as cities or strategic and military important roads. During this period, in 1585, the large town of Obsky on the right bank of the Ob River began to be built. In 1586, Tyumen, in 1587, Tobolsk, in 1594, Tara, in 1604, Tomsk. Construction nearby, replacement of strongholds in the Upper Irtysh, Yamushevsk, Omsk, Zhelezinsk, Semipalatinsk, Pavlodar, Usk-Kamenogorsk, preparing the ground for military and political penetration deep into the Kazakh lands. Russia began its colonization policy. At the same time, Kazakh Khanate was ruled by Toki Khan. At that time, the Kazakhs continued to wage cruel warriors with the Dzungars. So Toki Khan decided that it would be more rational and safe not to take any action against Russia, because there is a high risk of starting another war with Russia, and then you will have to wage a war on two fronts with the Dzungars and with Russia. Therefore, he decided to choose a rather peaceful policy. He also tried to establish friendly relations with neighbors, including from Russia itself. For this reason, he sent 5 embassies there, but which were unsuccessful due to the constant raids of the Dzungars, because they were interfered with free communication. Toki Khan was able to provide a worthy response to the Dzungars. However, unfortunately, in 1718, but sometimes they write in 1715, he died. Kaib Khan, who ascended the throne after that, he didn't have sufficient experience and therefore he couldn't maintain the unity of the Kazakh Khanate. The situation in the state was quite tense. In the Kazakh Khanate had 3 Juzes, and the problem is that these 3 Juzes became more and more isolated. Therefore, the unity of the Kazakh Khanate was under threat. The junior Juz was headed by Abu Khair, the middle Semikian Kushu, the senior Jolbaris, but at the head of the Kazakhs against the Dzungarian wars became Abu Khair. Between 1702 and 1748, he sat on the throne of the junior Jews. His main goal was to restore the former power of the unity of the Kazakh Khanate, so he recognized the power of the elder Kaib Khan as the heir to Toki Khan, and soon he was proclaimed Khan of the younger Jews. The territorial rapprochement of the Kazakhs and Bashkirs was facilitated by the defeat of the Bashkirs from the Kazakh Khan Yesim on the banks of Tabula in the 20th of the 17th century, as well as 300,000 Kalmucks who settled on the banks of the Yedila and Yaik rivers. They began to push Kazakhs to the north. Marriages were concluded between the Bashkirs and Kazakhs. They used the same pastures and held festivities, so they were culturally and ethnically closer. But the expulsion of the Bashkirs from their pastures by the Russian authorities and forced Christianization complicated the internal situation in Bashkiria. So these events in 1704 to 1711 prompted them to oppose the Russian population. Excessive deepening of the Bashkirs in the pastures of the junior Jews forced the Kazakh Khan Abu Khair to stop their further advance. Therefore, in 1715, Abu Khair Khan undertook a campaign against the Kalmyk region on the banks of the Cheremshan River. The Bashkirs, in turn, responded to this with invasions of the Kazakh nomad camps of the younger Jews. Abu Khair Khan then, in the winter of the 17 and 17, organized military campaigns against the Bashkir camps of the Kazakh district, and this situation began to repeat themselves very often. Therefore, in October 1713, Abu Khair sent an embassy to St. Petersburg.